Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing March 2022 bargain bead box. This is the Sky's the Limit collection. As you can see, all blue, a little bit of green in there, but really beautiful tones for March and April and the upcoming spring. So I'm going to go into detail with all these pieces here with you today. Hopefully you'll get some inspiration on the pieces I made here today for your own boxes. So without further ado, let's get into this video. For my first piece, I'm going to call this the Crystal Pendant. I was going to call it the Crystal Pondo Pendant, but that sounds horrible. The reason I had put Pondo in there is because I used the Pondo stitch to actually make the base for me to actually start hanging all the crystals from that, because I think that looks really nice, like the way that turned out. I brought you in a little bit closer so you can see a little bit more detail of what I did. So number one on your list is a 9 by 13 pressed glass cloud beads. Aren't these gorgeous? I used every one of these in this pendant. I didn't save any for earrings, unfortunately, but the way that it turned out, I actually had to use all of them for this pendant. Aren't these pretty? And they can flip over as well, and you know, it's just a little bit different texture on the other side. This on the back doesn't have any texture on the inside of the design, but on this side here, it has a little bit of texture on the inside, so it shows up, so the design shows up. But either way, like when you turn it over, they look really pretty. I love the colors of these. Like there's pink, there's a little bit of blue, there's a little bit of green, gold. You know, depending on what light hits these glass cloud beads, it just illuminates differently. That was number one on in your collection. Number three in your collection is the 4mm crystal bicone beads. That's these little blue ones here, and they are in sky blue. Number 11 is the 4mm faceted crystal round beads. These are in marine blue, and that is these ones here. I just pop those in on top of the cloud beads, just to fill in, because there's a little bit of a hole there like that, but this hole here was a little bit bigger, so I just used those to fill in those little holes. Number 18 on your list is the 8 by 6mm crystal rondo beads. That's these ones here. They are also in sky blue. Very beautiful, very sparkly when you move around with this, when you're wearing it. And number 19 on your list is the 12 by 9mm crystal faceted oval beads. These are in green blue iris, these ones here. And oh my goodness, these are so pretty. Same thing, they really sparkle beautifully. Change color just a little bit between green and blue. I just love the way that they change color in certain lights. Very nice. Basically, all I did was I stitched the Pondo stitch as long as I figured I needed it, and then just started beading through the bottom and adding all these beads. Very easy to do. If you guys want a quick little video on how I did this, I can do that. It's not a problem. I will be working on a lot of tutorials that you have been asking for. I'm sorry, I have been working on my studio. I am late with everything. I will get to that, I promise. But yes, I will do a video if you guys want a video of this. But very simple to do. I used my own stainless steel antique copper chain. Now they did give us chain in this collection, but I found it to be a little bit too bulky for this particular piece, so I pulled out my own. And then I did use the classic banded toggle clasp. This is 18mm, and this is number 12 in your collection. For my stash, I used half round antique copper wire to make the ends of the chains so that I could add the toggle clasp. And again, this is very small link chain, so I always do that, as you know. I make my own ends for all my chains, and I didn't use a jump ring here. I just added the toggle at the same time. This just makes it a lot more secure. I used 11O seed beads to make the initial pondo stitch on the top here. They're in gold and navy blue, and then I used 50 No's just on the bottom of each of the cloud beads because these beads are so dainty. I didn't want to use the big bulky 11 O's, so the 50 No's just, I don't know, it just gave it a more delicate look. So I used the 50 No's here and then the 11 O's to make the rest of the weaving and adding of the crystals. I call this one the Howlite Oval Pendant. I was really happy to see this big stone in here because I'd been planning to bezel a big stone for a little while. They hadn't sent us a big stone that I felt comfortable enough bezeling. So when I saw this, I was actually quite happy because I had this in mind for a couple of months, and it's very easy to do. If you know how to bezel these stones, it's just a matter of bezeling the stone and then just attaching your thread and adding beads. Like, it's so simple. I will be doing a video of this if you guys want. It won't be exactly the same, but I do have like how many beads were used to make the initial start of the bezel, and then pretty much how I went around. I can show you that on a different stone. It's not a big deal. I don't know if I have a stone quite the same size, but I will try to pick one that's really close to this, and I'll show you how to do that. You can also look online. There's a lot of tutorials on how to bezel big stones like this. I know this stone had a hole in it, but I didn't just want to do the usual hang it from a chain and call it a day. This is so pretty. I just wanted to use it into a more unique setting, and that's what I did. Now, to cover the hole, because you know there is a hole. Now, I could have bezeled all the way in, but the problem is that you start covering too much of the stone. And I didn't want to do that. This stone is absolutely stunning. So I just bezeled to where I wanted the bezel, like I wanted to hold the stone with the bezel and how I wanted it to look. Then I used one of the 13 by 19 millimeter swirled links. Now this is number 4 on in your collection. And I just beaded it into the one side, and you can't see the hole underneath. And it looks really nice. Like it's unique, right? It's unique. And I also used 2 of those swirl links at the end of the pendant to add the chain, and I just thought they looked really pretty. So for the 3 links of beaded chain that I did, I used the 7 by 10 millimeter genuine Howlite turquoise oval beads, and that's these ones here, these big ones here. They're so pretty. Really like these. I used the 12 by 4 millimeter bird spacer beads, number 9 in your collection. I used the 4 millimeter faceted crystal round beads. These are in marine blue, and that's these ones here, these little ones here. Oops, these ones, these little guys here. I used the 10 millimeter glass round beads. These are in metallic blue, and that's these big ones here. And that is number 13 on your list. I used 8 millimeter ice blue quartz. That's these ones here. Okay, that's number 14 on your list. I used the 6 millimeter matte flower amazonite round beads, and that's these little guys here. These are number 16 on your list. 8 by 5 millimeter drum beads. These are in milky blue, and that's these guys here. These are 17 on your list. And then I used the 40 by 30 millimeter genuine Howlite Oval pendant, and that is number 20 on your list. Unmistakable. Isn't it pretty? And then for my stash, I used 11 and 15 seed beads to make the bezel around here. I also used blue delicas in 11. From my own stash as well, I used the anti-copper flowered bead caps. Now these are from my own stash, so a little bit different than the ones that came in the collection. I found that I didn't have enough bead caps in the collection to finish everything that I wanted, so I just pulled out my own. I used 18 gauge copper wire to put everything together, and then I used the anti-copper cone beads just to make a cap for it. We could hide everything that was underneath, just to give it that finished look. And then I used my half round anti-copper wire to make the link to attach to the swirl link here, and then used the 5x4mm stainless steel oval chain that came in the collection. This is number 8. And then the toggle clasp as well. This is a classic banded toggle clasp, number 12 in your collection. I call this my wrap bracelet because it can actually be used as a bracelet. You could also use it as a necklace. Either way, it looks really pretty. This was made from a lot of the beads that I had left over. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with them, and I just started putting beads on a thread and making as long as I wanted, and this is what I came up with. So I used the 7x11mm bird charms, and that would be these ones here. This is number 2 on your list, in your collection. This is number 2 in your collection. I used the 4mm crystal bicones in sky blue, so that would be these ones here. These little ones there, that's number 3 in your collection. I used one of the 13x19mm swirled links because that's all I had left, so I used that one there to make the clasp ending. I used the 12x4mm bird spacer beads. Aren't these cute? So I just scattered what I had left in around this piece. That's number 9 in your collection. I use a 7mm swirled bead caps. So that would be these ones here. So these ones here. These ones did come in your collection. They are number 10. I had one 4mm faceted crystal round bead in marine blue. This one here, that's all I had left. And that is number 11 in your collection. So I just threw it in there. I mean, you might as well, right? I use a 10mm glass round bead. This is in metallic blue-green iris. I used one. This is number 13 in your collection. I use the 8mm ice blue quartz round beads. That's these ones here. 14 in your collection. The 6mm matte flower amazonite round beads, and that's these ones here. That's 16 in your collection. 8x5mm glass drum beads in milky blue, and that would be this one here. 17 in your collection. 8x6mm crystal rondelles in sky blue, and that would be this one here. Number 18 in your collection. And then you used one of the 12x9mm crystal faceted oval bead. And where is it here? Ah, there we go. I had one left, so I used that one. And this is number 19 in your collection. So as you can see, it is long enough to be, you know, a chain if you want to wear it like that. For my stash, I used 11/0 seed beads in gold and navy blue to put everything together. So basically all I did was I just started beading on, I just started putting beads on my thread and scattered what I had left all the way around, just scattered them all over the place. I used a antique copper lobster claw for the other side of my clasp. And I used one antique copper jump ring just to attach the lobster claw to the chain itself. Basically, I measured as I was going along to be sure that it would fit on my wrist as well. Because you don't want to make it too short, because then it'll be too long. You'll miss one loop on your wrist and then it'll be too long. If I can get this on. These lobster claws kind of give me a little bit of a hard time. And that's what it looks like when you put it on as a bracelet. So the nice thing is, you can wear it as a bracelet or a chain, whatever you're in the mood for. If you have a bunch of leftover beads, it's so easy to make these. Like, they're so cute. You could use it as an anklet. I think this would be a little bit big for me to wear as an anklet, but it just depends on what you want to do. Yeah, very easy to make. For the floral bird pendant, yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with this. It's such an unusual pendant. I mean, you can't, you know, make a bezel around it. I was thinking about hanging stuff from it, but honestly, just the way they have the bird in here, it was just something I thought, I'm not really gonna elaborate on this particular pendant itself, but I can add interesting things to the chain. So I added the 4mm crystal bicone beads. These are in sky blue, number 3 in your collection. I use the 20mm glazed porcelain handmade beads. These are in aquamarine. They are 5 in your collection. They gave us only 2. So I was thinking about making a pair of earrings, but I thought they would just be really nice with this pendant. They would just add that pop of color to the whole piece. I used the 32mm swirled chandelier pendants. That's these ones here. These are number 7 on your list. And of course, the 50 by 34mm floral bird cutout pendant. This is number 15 in your collection. And then the 8 by 5mm drum beads. So one on either side of that porcelain bead. These are in milky blue and number 17 in your collection. And as you can see, I used the 5 by 4mm steel oval chain, and I just made 3 sections. So this section here, the 2 outer sections have 6 links. The one in the middle has 5, because as you can see the chandelier, this one is up a little bit higher. So I used 5 in the middle, 6 on the ends, attached them with jump rings, my own jump rings, which are in antique copper. And then half round wire to add all of that to the next section of chain, which I used to finish off the piece and make my loop here. And the 18mm classic banded toggle clasp, number 12 in your collection, to add to the end to finish off the piece. And I think this piece ended up being actually very unique. Sometimes when you get pieces like this, you don't want to add too much to it because this is very pretty. I think if I'd added anything to it, hanging stuff from it, I just don't think it would have looked very nice. I even thought about putting something around it here, but again, I don't think that it would have done this piece justice. It looks beautiful just the way it is, with a little pop of color and a little bit of texture and stuff going on up here. I think it's a very unique piece and it looks beautiful when you wear it. So yeah, I think it turned out quite pretty. For my next piece, I call this the Swirl Charm Bracelet. For this, I take the 13 by 19mm swirled links and I attach them with my half round wire. So each side there. And then inside here, you will see 2 links of the steel oval chain. This is 5 by 4mm steel oval chain. This is number 8 in your collection. And then I attach them each, like I said, with the half round wire to each of the links, and then I just made it the length that I wanted. And then after that, I started adding the beads. So I used the 4mm crystal bicone, number 3 on your list. This is in sky blue. I used the 4mm faceted crystal round beads. That is these ones here on your list. Right there, that little one. That is number 11 on your list, and it's in marine blue. I used a 10mm glass round bead in metallic blue-green iris. That one. This is number 13 on your list. And then 8mm ice blue quartz round bead. That one there. Number 14 on your list. I use the 8 by 5mm glass drum bead in milky blue. This one. 17 in your list. And then I used the 8 by 6mm crystal rondelles in sky blue, and that's this one here. 18 in your list. And then for the endings, I used the toggle clasps that were given to us in the collection. 18mm classic banded toggle clasp, that's 12 in your collection. And like I said, my half round wire, which put everything together. For my stash, I use the antique copper head pins just to attach all these beads to the 2 links that I put in between the swirled links, to give you a kind of clustery look to the bracelet. So to show you, on one side, you can use either the half round wire to make your loop, to attach the toggle clasp to the swirl link and make your ending, or you can just use a jump ring or even one of the links of the chain to add the toggle clasp to your bracelet. I call these the twisted hoop earrings. Now, when I saw the 32mm swirled chandeliers, that's these ones here, and number 7 in your collection, I knew that I could probably just put an ear wire on there, a couple of beads, and call it a day. I didn't want to leave them that way. I just wanted to do something unusual. And I really do like the idea of a large hoop earring that's not very heavy. So I used my own square antique copper wire. Now this you can get this wire at Parawire. I really like ordering from Parawire. Their wires really last a long time. They don't discolor. I've enjoyed using them. A lot of the pieces that I've made, I wear myself, and the wire does last quite a long time. So this is a 20 gauge, 18 gauge. This was 18 gauge wire, square antique copper wire, and I twisted it to make it a swirl, to make it look like a swirl, and then used my perfume bottle to make the actual round part. Yes, I used a perfume bottle and made my loops, added my ear wires here. These are antique copper wire ear wires. And then just made a loop, brought it around, made a loop here, added the chandelier, and then I added 4mm crystal bicone beads in sky blue. These are 3 on your list. To add the crystal bicones, I used my antique copper head pins, and I made the loops loosely. Like you can see, they're quite loose in here. The reason I did that was because I wanted the organic look. I really like the wiry organic look to a lot of my pieces, so I left them loose. I didn't pull them down or push them in too much. I did push them in just a little bit against the 4mm crystal bicone, just so that you don't get scratched or anything if they rub up against your skin. But I really like that loose loop look. I know that sounds weird, but I do like it for that organic look. For these earrings here, there is going to be a little quick PDF put up on my Pinterest if you want to go check that out. On my Pinterest page, I will put a quick little link, which is sometimes, I do that sometimes. People really like that. You get the gist of how to actually make it. It's very easy, but it will be up on my Pinterest. You know, just a quick little PDF tutorial on how to do this. Yeah. So I was in the mood to make the bangle style bracelet, so I pulled out my memory wire and I made the ice blue quartz bracelet and the sky blue bicone bracelet. So for the ice blue bracelet, I used the 8mm ice blue quartz round beads. And all I did was add bead caps to every one of them back to back. And then at the end, I just added a chain to kind of hold it together. So that's the steel oval chain, 5x4mm. That's 8 in your collection. The ice blue quartz round beads is 14 in your collection. And these were my own bead caps. I had run out of bead caps. Like I said, we didn't get a lot of bead caps in this. For the amount of bead capping I needed to do, I had to pull out my own bead caps. So these are my own bead caps. These are antique copper flower bead caps. I think I got these from Bargain Bead or Bead Box Bargains. You can get them pretty much anywhere you want to, but I thought it was actually quite unique. I love bangles, so I make a lot of them and wear them, stack them. And this one turned out really pretty. And so simple, you know, so simple, but yet so pretty. If you like the bangle style bracelets, this is the perfect little recipe for that. For the sky blue bicone bracelet, I used the 4mm crystal bicones. These are 3 in your collection. And then used my demi-round seed beads. I don't know if these are 6 or 8. They're either 6 or 8, I'm not really sure. I can't remember. I bought them quite a while ago, and for some reason the tag is gone off the package, and I don't know. But these are demi-round seed beads. You can just go look up demi-round seed beads. You can find them anywhere that you can get beads in any store. They are really pretty, unique. They give a nice texture. At least I find that they do. Memory wire, so it's in the bangle style. Very simple, and it looks really nice. Like I said, stacked. So you could make several of these if you have bicone beads or anything, you know. And then with what I have left, what I had left of these small bicone beads, the 4mm crystal bicones in sky blue, I just made a set of earrings to match the little bracelet. And then just dangled one from the bottom so you have a dangly. And then just put it together with my half round wire. And my anti-copper ear wires. Very simple, light, and so pretty. I love matching bracelets and earrings. I don't know why, I just do. I think they look nice. For my last and final pieces, I made swirl charm earrings. Now I had 2 of the 13 by 19mm swirled links left. This is number 4 in your collection, so I decided to make a pair of earrings that would pretty much go with any of the pendants that were made here today. And as you can see, I added 1 of the 4mm bicone beads in sky blue, number 3 in your collection, to each of the earrings, and then the 10mm glass round beads in metallic blue-green iris, number 13 in your list, in your collection. And then put that together with the anti-copper head pins. And again, I didn't tighten the loop too much. Like I said, I wanted to keep that loop fairly open. I just like the look of that. And then added my anti-copper ear wires. Very simple earrings, yet delicate and elegant. Really like the way these turned out, and like I said, you could wear them with any one of the pendants that were made today. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some inspiration from the pieces that were made here today. I will be making a video on this particular wrapped stone here for you. I am working on the videos, tutorials that a lot of you had asked for. I'm working on that. Tutorials, unfortunately, take a little more time to film and then edit. So I am working on those. Don't worry. I heard you. I'm going to be doing it. So this one here, now unfortunately it's not gonna be the exact same stone as this one. I'm gonna try to pick one as close as I can to this particular stone. I do have a lot of stones like it, but they're a little bit thinner, so they're not gonna be quite as big. But you get you get the idea of, you know, how to wrap this here. So I will do that, definitely do that. If you have any questions or comments on any of the pieces that I made here, please leave them in the comment section below. Also go to the description box, you'll find my email there if you have any questions. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you are notified of upcoming videos. I'm gonna get out of here now. You guys have a great day, and I would love to see you back here for the next one. Bye.